When I first started transitioning in spring of 2004, a little over 9 years ago, it's crazy, I worried so much if people would ever see me as male, like completely as male, in regards to the fact that I was trans and born female, and the fact that I did not have a standard biological cis male, non-trans guy, whatever you want to call it, functioning penis. And I worried about this in general, in terms of like how classmates saw me, if they happen to know my surgical status, friends, definitely family. I wanted to be accepted as my family's son or grandson or whatever. That was very important to me. It's affirming. When your family recognizes that, it really feels liberating and like you've had that confirmation and you can just be you. Not that you need anybody's confirmation, affirmation to be yourself. A lot of people never get it from their family and you're still 100% you, whether it's male, female, genderqueer, whatever. But having that's great. But one area where I was really worried was my relationships and the dating world. At the time, I only dated women. I was only interested in women. This was when I was still in Jacksonville and really identifying as this like hetero guy, and I really tried hard to just dress as masculine as I could, and I was kind of more preppy, wearing button downs and stuff, so people would read me as male, be more likely to read me as male. Deep inside I was always this kind of hippie, kind of off the grid, do it yourself, minimalist, whatever, musician guy. But the community I grew up in, whatnot, I just felt this pressure to conform to these like kind of more conservative ideals of maleness. As I mentioned, I went to a Catholic school, and my mom thinks guys shouldn't have long hair and should be well groomed and not have beards and whatnot. Like she told me when I still lived in Florida, when you move to California, you can grow a beard. Because I thought for a while they were wanting me to be as feminine as possible, even though that was the last thing I wanted. When you're transitioning and in your first couple years of T, all you want is to be masculine and all the changes and your voice to change and your dick to grow and for your hairline to recede or not, whatever. So the two areas where it was really important to me were family and, of course, my relationships. So as I was saying, I was only attracted to women at the time. I actually might have been attracted to men, kind of more in an emotional way, but I just wasn't recognizing it. I don't know if it was like fear of the penis / masculinity, jealousy, or just not ever experiencing life as a gay man, because being attracted to straight men, well, gay men and straight men are two different things. Like when I was female, I was often hit on, and I know what it's like to be treated like a piece of meat by a straight guy. That also formed how I treated women, but I also, the men I were around were these straight southerners, so I was not attracted to them. But then I get to San Francisco and I'm around all these gays, and it's like, oh my god, they're fabulous, and I totally fit in. But one thing weird with my sexuality is I'm just not that, like, sexually interested in men. I definitely feel emotionally attractive and like, oh, he's hot and stuff, but I don't know where to take it. It might be partially because I identify as a top, and obviously that presents some problems trying to top a man. I'm sure there are plenty of gay dudes into it. That's just not something I've explored yet. I definitely had some make-out time with guys and stuff, but I have a lot more sexual experience with women. So, in the beginning, I'm only dating women, and, obviously not as comfortable acting faggy, feminine, whatever you want to call it. I really put this pressure on myself to be this, like, straight guy, and I don't know, and it was for the girl, or girls, or whoever, for the person I was dating at the time. And, I was always so worried, like, oh, is she going to see me as part female or not 100% male because I'm trans. And the later I get into this, and the reconnections I've had with friends, that went to school for me from like the 3rd to 12th grade, so they obviously know I'm trans, saw me in a skirt every day going to Catholic school, but they still see me as Charles, and they never mess up on pronouns, and they're so cool with me. I've come to this really comfortable point in my transition where I don't really care if people know I'm trans. I mean, I do. Like, I talked in my last video about I don't want to be outed, but I mean, like, friends and stuff. Like, if you're going to be friends with me, it's no problem for you to know I'm trans, and I'm pretty comfortable with it, and I've come to accept and even kind of embrace my trans maleness. Not that I identify as a female to male, because actually F to M is something I've never really identified with. Like, transgender male sounds so much more appropriate, even though I identify is 100% male. Like, the transness doesn't take away from that. It doesn't make you less male. It's how I got there, and it describes how my socialization was different, how my medical history might be a little different, and how my anatomy might be a little bit different. At this time, when I was first starting transition, the first couple years, even after having top surgery and being on T for 2-3 years, I was still trying really hard to just be like a dude and try to mimic these guys that other women had dated and just try to be as male as I could, and in bed just make it more just like penis and vagina sex and stuff instead of exploring the wonderful world of queer sex, because I just wasn't that comfortable. I've always enjoyed oral sex, not necessarily performed on myself because I'm not totally comfortable with that. I mean, I definitely let girls give me blowjobs and stuff, and it's just not something, I mean, I can enjoy it, it's just hard to let go sometimes, and it's something I still struggle with, but I definitely enjoy going down on women, so that was always a part of kind of the sexual repertoire. And then it got like, ooh, strap-ons are not really doing it for me, and it's not really a dick, and I got all worried, like, does this straight girl I'm dating feel like it's not a dick? Does it feel like a real penis? You know, and I would get so upset and weirded out, and that would kind of cause me to distance myself from whoever I was dating and kind of start to isolate, and it really brought on a lot of like dysphoria for me, being in a relationship and just having these insecurities and doubts about, like, does she see me as male? Now, I am not looking for a straight woman or a lesbian or anyone of any particular orientation. I am just looking for someone. I ideally like someone that identifies as queer, but just someone that is just open and flexible and totally sees me as a dude, whether I, you know, have an 8-inch cock or a 2-inch cock, and whether I have to shoot my own testosterone or that I make it myself. I found the more comfortable I am with it, the more comfortable other people are. And I can joke about it and reference it, and it's not a big deal, but people still see me as a dude. I can, you know, laugh like, oh yeah, well, we got our boobs cut off, you know, whatever. And I'm still Charlie, I'm still a dude. In fact, a lot of people I come out to, if they eventually find out or whatever, they're like, I would never have known, or, you know, you just look so much like a dude, but, you know, I always thought there was something about you, like, you're not gay, but, you know, I don't know, there's just something different, and I kind of like that people can tell there's something different, that they don't just see me as some humdrum straight dude. But that being said, I have a lot of straight male friends that are awesome dudes, or straight male cousins that are awesome people, and they're not your typical So, of course, I'm stereotyping here. There are always, I mean, there are all kinds of people. And, you know, I don't mean to say, like, you know, kind of people that are typically masculine, it's the wrong way to be. It's just, this is the evolution my masculinity and my gender and whatnot has taken over the past 9 years of transitioning. So I would worry a lot, and I still do. Like, once in a while my mom will mess up and call me she or something, or I feel she doesn't necessarily see me as male as my younger brother. But I've learned to kind of let that go, especially with parents, because I was a female for 20 years, and I was adopted as a girl, and it's their parents. That's how I was raised, but they totally accept me now, and, you know, I think see me as I am, like this kind of blend of kind of different qualities from each gender. Like, my mom and I can still go shopping, and we can have these emotional conversations, and I think she thought she was going to lose that, but instead she didn't at all. She just gained kind of more of a gay son, which she's fine with. So I used to worry a lot for little actions that I would take, to my speech patterns. And, you know, after moving to San Francisco and being around gay people, I was like, okay, well, I can be kind of more effeminate and whatnot, and no one cares, and it's not a big deal, and I'm comfortable with myself. I see myself as male no matter what, and being trans doesn't invalidate that for me, and it shouldn't for you either. And if someone has a problem with it, it's their problem. It doesn't make me any less male. I feel this video is kind of all over the place, but I was just thinking about that and seeing and watching vlogs from people that are, you know, newer to transition, just being so worried that once you're longer on T and you've had surgery or not had surgery or whatnot, once you learn that it's okay to be trans, you can love yourself as you are. It's totally valid to be the way you are, because there's so many messages in society that tells us it's not okay to be trans, and it's wrong, and it's dirty, and, you know, whether it's religious or from other institutions. And so I think we have all this, like, kind of a lot of internalized transphobia that, you know, like, well, I have to be this stealth, you know, guy that no one can ever know, and it's so shameful. And I don't think you need to be ashamed. You don't need to be ashamed. And there will be a point when you can finally kind of let go of that. And you'll feel male or female or whatever, no matter what, because you know who you are. And once you're comfortable with yourself, it makes everyone else around you comfortable. And I think something that maybe a lot of people don't realize or we don't think about is that when we're really uncomfortable with ourselves, like in terms of gender and stuff before we transition, a lot of people can sense that, and they don't know how to treat you or address you, or they just feel something's off. And once you start to transition and feel more like yourself, they can feel that, and they start to receive that. And people really can feel that you are the gender you say you are. You know how a lot of people kind of give you shit like, how do you know and stuff. But then once they see you and they can see it, and it becomes just kind of second nature to call you he or she, or use the right pronoun. People around you have to transition too. It's different. It's you becoming more comfortable with yourself. It's them becoming more comfortable with you and learning how to relate to you. And it's basically just a matter of time, like a lot of things. So, hope this wasn't too scattered and it made some sense. Alright, take care. Peace.